Good evening, Council, staff, and members of the public. Welcome to our regular Council meeting for Wednesday, November the 9th, the last Council meeting of this term of Council. I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. The town of Innisfil acknowledges that we are situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. We also acknowledge that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Beausoleil First Nations, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for their generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people, and as settlers, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples. I would like to start this evening by saying that Councillor Donna Orsatti is joining us virtually this evening, and Deputy Mayor Dan Davidson sent his regrets but hopes that he might be able to join us virtually through the evening. So we'll start with open forum. There were none registered for this evening, but we're just going to run out quickly and make sure that nobody signed up. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Parkin. So now I would ask that I have a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda as printed. Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Payne. All those in favor? And our elected are, yes, there we have from Donna. Thank you, that's carried. Next, I'll ask if there's any disclosures of interest, pecuniary interest on any item on the agenda. If one becomes apparent to you as we're speaking, please make it known to the clerk at that time. And then we have presentations and petitions. And tonight we're very fortunate to have with us our Member of Provincial Parliament, Andrea Khanjin from Barrie Innisfil. Welcome, Andrea. There's a mic over there if you'd like. Then everyone at home who's watching live stream can hear you and see you.
I have to come here. Hello. It's a great honor to be here this evening. I'm really loud. I can hear myself speaking. And I want to thank the council for inviting me. And I want to thank everyone who is watching from home, including Councillor Donna Orsatti and Deputy Mayor Dan Davidson, if you're watching. And I want to thank the outgoing councillors and outgoing Deputy Mayor for their great service. I'm really looking forward to working with the new council and, of course, the re-elected council members. But I did want to acknowledge the great hard work of our past councillors and, of course, offer my gratitude on behalf of the provincial government by giving you a scroll to congratulate you on your service. Which highlights some of your many accomplishments, some of which did not fit on the scroll. So please don't think this is me not knowing all of your accomplishments. It's just we would have to be double-sided, it would be layered, and we would have some printing issues, and I might not be here still. I'd probably be at the printer printing all those accomplishments. So really grateful, and I've learned so much about you, learning from you and working by your side, so really grateful. And I know Carolyn Payne doesn't talk about this often, but I did include it in the scroll, how your achievements were not just recognized by the province and the federal government, but at one time also Prince Charles and Lady Diana back in 1991. So just wanted to highlight that as something really special, since we just went through the 10 days of mourning and now welcomed our new King Charles. So thank you on behalf of the province to all of you, and I will just deliver these scrolls to the outgoing councillors and leave the two who are joining us online tonight. So thank you.
Thank you very much, MPP Khanjin. Very, very much appreciated. Please, yes, feel free to. Thank you for that. And I will also let you know that there are also scrolls of appreciation from Member of Parliament, John Brassard, who couldn't be with us here this evening. He's in Ottawa, but wanted me to pass on his appreciation and thanks for all of the work over the past 4 years. So with that, I would ask for a mover and a seconder, please, that the presentation recognizing the 2018-2020 term of council by Andrea Khanjin, MPP Barrie Innisfil, be received. Moved by Councillor Waters, seconded by Councillor Van Berkel. All those in favor and our electronic participant, thank you, that's carried. Next is item 6, delegations of members of the public by invited guests and members. Seeing none, we'll go to item 7. Any associations, municipal associations, committees that have met that you'd like to report on? Councillor Orsatti, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I just wanted to report on the Innisfil libraries. Starting with, I have served on the library board for the past 8 years, and if I could just take this time to say I'm so proud of the accomplishments by our CEO, staff, their energy, compassion, and attention to continuously evolving services has provided our community with innovative ideas for services and support, making our libraries a destination place for Innisfil. And although the next library board meeting is November 21st, I also would like to just take this time to thank the many dedicated library board members who each became an advocate for the library while sharing their time, skills, and passion for library services in Innisfil. And a few of the highlights that we have right now at the library. Until November 11th, anyone can stop by our branches and place a poppy of remembrance on the silhouette. They can write a name of a loved one who served or is currently serving in the armed forces and write a few words of encouragement. The annual gingerbread house contest. This family-friendly gingerbread house contest is being hosted by the Rotary of Innisfil, taking place at our Lakeshore branch on November 26th from 10 till 3. And this includes craft sale, bake sale, and a visit story time with Santa, and a life-size gingerbread house. And finally, the library has a new partnership with Rescue Lake Simcoe Coalition Education Team. They'll be delivering a free program for children ages 9 to 13 years of age on Saturday afternoons until November 26th at the Innisfil Lakeshore branch. And this program is a series of sessions regarding the Lake Simcoe watershed and environmental health. And check out the library website for the full calendar of events for the month of November. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Orsatti. I have a couple from the county. So the County Council had their last meeting yesterday where we said farewell to 22 members of County Council. There'll be 10 returning for the next term. We did have a half-day budget discussion where we went through the budget line by line, all the different departments for the county. Although no decisions are made, it'll be up to the next council to pass a budget for 2023. Also, as today with my deputy warden hat on, I attended a press conference in Bradford, West Gwillimbury, where shovels are in the ground to start the Bradford bypass, and Premier Ford and the Minister of Transportation were both in attendance. And the last thing I would have with my in-services board hat on is a thank you very much to the staff at in-services. There were a couple of unplanned water main breaks, and they were very quickly repaired. One of them affected a number of families over Thanksgiving weekend. So a big thank you to in-services for stepping in to help the private landowner and bringing water back to all the families. Okay, so we'll move on then to item 8, which is the consent list. So for those of you who haven't joined us very often, we'll read out all of the items that are on the consent list that have a recommendation from staff. If council is okay with that, it'll just be moved to the end of the meeting and we will adopt at that time, or they can be pulled to ask questions or amend the staff recommendation in any way that council chooses. So we'll start with A1, that was council meeting minutes from September 28th. B1, a summary report from the Joint Interim Fire Governance Advisory Committee meeting. B2, the summary report for the Audit Advisory Committee meeting. B3, another meeting with the Joint Interim Fire Governance Advisory Committee. And C1, an appointment of an external auditor. D1, a Q3 update, financial update. Councillor Ices.
I'd like to refer that to committee, please.
Thank you, Councillor. D2, the building permit Q3 update. E1, the bylaw to provide for an interim 2023 tax levy. G1, the minutes of the Police Services Board from August. G2, the County Council highlights from October. G3 was a letter from Minister Surma in regards with a meeting we had with her at AMO back in August regarding infrastructure funding. G4, the Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Ontario Act. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about that in the future. G5, National Children's Grief Awareness Day, November 7th. G6, International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women, which is November the 25th. Seeing no more items want to be pulled, I would ask for a mover and a seconder then to pass the motion on the screen regarding the consent list. That would be Councillor Nicol and Councillor Van Berkel. All those in favor? Thank you, Councillor Sadi. That's carried. And now we'll go to the item pulled, which was Councillor Ices. Oh, sorry, my fault. You'd think after 4 years I'd have this down pat, wouldn't you? All right, move to resolve into committee of the whole, please. Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Ices. All those in favor? Our electronic participant? That is carried. Now we'll go to Councillor Ices for D1.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to ask for a seconder so I can get this on the floor. Councillor Nicol, thank you. Yeah. First of all, thank you to the Finance for such a detailed report that shows exactly where we are at this point of the budget season. And so I just had a couple questions. Looking at that, focusing on the operating forecasts for revenues and expenditures. It shows at the end that we're forecasting a surplus, which is just terrific. I know a lot of work's being done on this upcoming budget that the new council will have to deal with. So my question is on the OLG revenue. That to me is the biggest change in our favor. I always have to be reminded about those funds, where they can be used, and kind of the stipulations around them. So if I could get that, please.
Ms. Webb?
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Ices. In In terms of the operating position at the end of the year, we are forecasting a deficit. And so I know it can be confusing. We've got brackets and positive numbers and which way is it going, but we are forecasting for the town a deficit of $274,000. And a lot of the impacts related to that deficit is lingering COVID impacts. So when we prepared the budget in 2022, we, for the most part, planned for, full revenues. At that point in time, when we were preparing the budget, we didn't understand fully what the lingering impacts of COVID would be. So that's, for the most part, what's driving that deficit. And of course, inflationary increases, insurance increases that were unexpected and so forth. In terms of your question related to the OLG money, so when we did do the budget for 2022, again, at that point, we didn't know what was going to happen with casinos and COVID. So, we were very conservative in our projections of those revenues. And so, they have returned to almost pre-COVID levels at this point in time. And so that's why we are seeing this surplus. In terms of how it can be used, the OLG money is transferred to what we call our Alternative Revenue Source Reserve Fund. And that reserve fund can be used for strategic one-time items. But the largest use of that money is for the non-growth portion of growth projects. So when we think of growth projects such as a road, and it's predominantly growth. It's got a large growth component. There's always that benefit to existing. And so we use the money for that purpose.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. I'm really glad I asked the question because I obviously didn't read it totally correctly. So to be that far out on the revenue side and to have that small of a deficit, I think is a great place to be. Where my question on the deficit would be, where would that deficit be accounted for?
Through your worship to Councillor Ices. So we have what we call the tax rate stabilization reserve. And so that reserve's in place to fund, unexpected items, emergency type items, and deficits should we incur them. In my time here, I don't recall incurring a deficit in previous years, but, we're in unprecedented times here, in terms of the lingering COVID impacts, like I mentioned, and inflationary pressures that we're experiencing in our operating budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ices. And I would just add that, we've been directing staff to tighten up the budgets, whereas before they'd maybe leave more room so we wouldn't have a deficit. And we've told them not to budget as conservatively as they did in the past and to make sure that we didn't end up with huge surpluses at the end of the year. And I think this other than the residue of COVID, I think that change in direction has also led to us with a small deficit. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Waters, please.
Thank you, Worship. I was just going through, I just happened to see a line item. It was under the category of growing communities, and it's the expenditure of the 6-line bridge expansion over the railway, and that has to do with the orbit. So my question is, because there was some question about what was going to happen to the 6-line bridge, whether it was going to be fixed or not or repaired. So could I just get some details on that particular project?
Thank you. Ms. Jenkins, please.
Through your worship, we are starting to work on the design of that project. It is being done through an agreement with the developer to undertake that work, and so the design is now underway for a replacement structure for that overpass. The timing will be dependent on, timelines to get approvals and things like that through Metrolinx and that sort of thing, but we are hopeful to move into construction within the next year or so for that overpass.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the Q3 forecast? Seeing none, we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor of the recommendation? That's carried. Thank you very much. And now we will have the RISE recommendation, and I would ask for Councillor Payne and Councillor Van Berkel to move and second the RISE recommendation. All those in favor? That is carried. And next is consideration of adoption of the recommendations from the Committee of the Whole. Councillor Fowler and Councillor Nicol, all those in favor? That is carried. Are there any notices of motion to be given? Seeing none, we'll now move to announcements. Before we move into announcements, what I would like to suggest, if with Council's concurrence, is we do regular announcements about events and such first, and after that I'd like to give all of the members of Council who are not returning an opportunity to say a few words should they wish. So, announcements, please. Councillor Nicol.
Thank you, Worship. It was really great to hand out treats along with you and my son Wyatt for all the kids down at Cookstown Bonanza a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to announce that I will be happy to represent the town of Innisfil again at the Barrie Remembrance Day services on Friday. And actually, I did want to share with everybody, in case you missed it last month, but I did win 2 more medals at the Farmers Market pumpkin contest. So yeah, we've that's 3 years in a row that Wyatt and I have taken the most unique, and this year we got second place as well. So just thought I'd share that with everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Nicol. Other announcements? Seeing none, I have plenty. We haven't met formally since September the 28th, I believe it was, and since then our community has had many happenings, including a tragedy with the loss of our 2 fallen officers, Devin Michael and Morgan Russell, and we are still in mourning over those losses from the tragic occurrence on October the 11th until the funeral, and our hearts and prayers go out to the families and also to the colleagues at South Simcoe Police. We know our community is still grieving as well, and we're getting many, many phone calls, people offering ideas on how we can honor the 2 fallen officers. And I want the community to know that we are in touch. I've reached out to the acting chief, and we want to make sure that the families are consulted before doing anything. But please, thank you for reaching out and for all of the people who have donated to the funds that the police officers and their families have identified. I also have been attending a number of retirement parties for, not parties, I guess, events for mayors that are not returning. Mayor Keffer was one, along with Councillor Ron Orr from Bradford. I also attended a celebration of life for Mr. Rick Morris. Rick was, and Councillor Van Berkel was there as well. Rick, was he a lifetime member of Lefroy, Bill?
He, lifetime member?
Resident of...
Oh, yes, yeah. His father and mother were too, I think.
And a long-standing building official for the town of Innisfil for many, many years. There were 3 Remembrance Day services last weekend, one in Cookstown, one in Lefroy, and one in Sandy Cove, all very well attended. And also I attended the Poppy launch in the city of Barrie at the Barrie Legion. The Innisfil Historical Society had their 50th anniversary celebration and luncheon. And on a lighter note, I was very pleased to nominate the Nantyre Shores Adventure Viral class at Nantyre Shores and for the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority Conservation Awards, and they were the recipient, and they won the Ernie Crossland Young Environmentalist Award, and it was just a wonderful evening, and the kids were very excited about it. So having said that, my last item to mention is that we will be having a Remembrance Day service here at Town Hall on Friday at about 11:15. We'll be forming up. So with that then, I'm going to go to the members of council. I'm just going to open it up by saying that I want to sincerely thank each and every member of this term of council. It was without a doubt the most trying time with, I don't know when we all signed up whether we knew we were going to have to serve through a global pandemic, but also very proud of you, not only for the way that we were flexible throughout that, the whole ordeal, but also with what we accomplished with one hand tied behind our back. And also to the staff, absolutely supporting us 100%, and have a great deal of respect for everyone at this table and those that are not here with us tonight. We're passionate about our community, we fight hard, but once we vote on something, we move on and we respect the decision of the council as a whole. So it's absolutely an honor to share this table with all of you. And I don't believe the Deputy Mayor has been able to join us yet, so I will go to Councillor Van Berkel.
Thank you, Your Worship. For me, it's kind of bittersweet because I know I'm not coming back. It's over the past 40-some years that I have been involved with the town in one way or another, whether it was the fire department or some committee or many years in council. It's been an absolute pleasure, and if I had to do it over again, I would do it in a minute. It's, you know, it's the tremendous people that I've met in all of these different things, whether it was fire department or council or committees, but also the fact that I've seen the town grow from 15,000 people in the town at one time to, well, actually it was like, 500 in the wintertime and 15,000 in the summer, because that was our industry. It was cottage. That was our industry. That's when the people were here. So, we've come a long ways. I've been here to see the libraries built, to see the new town hall built, to see the fire halls built, the rec center, and on and on and on. Water and sewer. I've seen it all. So I've been a part of it, and I'm very proud of that. I have to thank the people from Ward 2 for having put their faith in me all these years, and it was very easy the last time because it was acclaimed, and I'm being acclaimed again by going out. But there comes a time in life when you have to make that decision what you want to do, and that time for me has come. I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time with my grandkids. I'm getting to that age where maybe there's not that many years left. So I'm going to take advantage of the years that I have left. And like I said, I know with the people that have been elected, Innisfil is going to be in good hands. Every one of the new councillors and under the leadership of Mayor Dolan and a staff that's second to none. I'm telling you, the new councillors don't know how lucky they are that they have a staff like we have in this town. You said it yourself, the past 4 years have been probably the most difficult, at least 2 or 3 of them, of all the council sessions that I've been on, but you know what, staff was there all the time. You know, I'd pick up the phone, and they were there. Our customer service, they've improved so much over the years, they're second to none. I can't say enough about our staff, all of us, whether it's our building staff or whether it's, you know, and now we have a man at the helm, Oliver, and I know he's not going to let anything happen to the town of Innisfil. So I want to thank all of you, and I wish you nothing but success over the next 4, 8, 10 years. I'll be watching. Thank you all. Thank you, staff. Thank you, councilors.
Thank you. Councillor Orsatti, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I've just been able to connect, seeing what's actually happening. So I wanted to say good evening, and I'm sorry that I'm not able to attend this evening in person. Ending my 8 years virtually is not how I wanted to end my last council meeting, but a case of bronchitis has prevented otherwise. However, as my fellow councillor members know, nothing can stop me from the opportunity to speak. So I've just made some notes, and just bear with me as I just go through this, because I don't want to miss anyone. I would like to begin by first thanking the residents of Ward 3 for entrusting me to represent them for the past 2 terms on council. This gave me the opportunity to sit on committees and boards while attending municipal workshops and education sessions, allowing me to better represent the concerns and needs of not only Ward 3 residents, but the community as a whole. And I deeply appreciated your trust in me, and it has been an honor to represent you. To my fellow council members, as council members, we are part of a team where individually we speak on behalf of the needs of our residents who elected us, and collectively on the needs of the community. And this has not been a normal term for this or any council. After our election, we only saw each other in virtual meetings and missed the opportunity to get to know each other's communication styles and personal goals, which can often result in the breakdown of councils working together in a cohesive team, a struggle for many municipalities across Ontario this term. However, I am proud to say this council continued to work together for a common goal and ended this term with courtesy, respect, and consideration for each other. And that is something we can all be proud of. I am sorry I'm not with you this evening to thank each of you in person for the support and relationships we have built over the 4 to 8 years, but I will do that shortly. I offer my congratulations to the new and returning council members, and I know that your community, dedication, and hard work will continue to build a better future for Innisfil. And like Councillor Van Berkel, to our amazing staff and leadership team, I would be remiss in not thanking you. Behind every agenda, I, like many council members, read our reports, send out our emails to staff with our questions, clarifying details until we are prepared to vote. But staff spend days responding to council inquiries by email and phone before each council meeting and supporting us throughout the term. A council member never works alone. It takes a cooperation and support of each part of the team to achieve the collective goal we have for Innisfil. I believe it was in my first term of inaugural, Hazel McCallum spoke and gave the wise words of trust your staff. I've always considered these words in my preparation for every meeting. When we trust each other, we build a better team. And I've had the good fortune of great working relationships with so many staff members over both terms. and I thank each of you for your leadership, kindness, support, and hope our paths will cross again. My decision to step down does not mean that I step down from my involvement or caring for this community. I just will take a little time to spend some quality time with my husband, family, and friends who have supported me throughout this journey. It has been an honor and a privilege to have served on council for the past 8 years, and I thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Councillor Orsatti. Councillor Payne.
Oh, boy. Thanks a lot, Donna. Oh, dear. Anyway, she pretty much said exactly what I wanted to say. She must be my sister in another world.
It's okay.
It's like, I'm sorry. I think I mentioned this to you guys before, that this is family. Even though it's a job for the community, it's like being with your family. And we had our little arguments and whatever, disagreements, but we all gathered together and we made decisions together that really affect the people of Innisfil. And I am proud of that. And I'm sure all of these guys are, sorry, madam, it's something that we can carry with us and say, wow, we did that. We made the decision to do that. And I think that's a proud moment for all of us. And I have to say, I could never have done my job, able to do our job because of you, because of the staff. We were able to do the good job that we did. So I thank you for that. And my experience on the Heritage Committee, thank you, Kevin. And on the Accessibility Committee, thank you, Kim. You opened my eyes to a lot of things that I never even thought of before. So I thank you for that, and I'll always carry that with me. And I think that's about it. I just want to say thank you to everybody. And you guys, you're my brothers, whether you like it or not. You're my brothers, and Lynn and Donna, my sisters. And I love you guys, and I cherish the experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Nickel.
Kind of tough acts to follow here, I guess. Oops. As many of you already know, I really don't like wasting people's time, and I don't talk just to make noise. But I do have a few things to share. I've lived in Innisfil for almost 20 years now, and I've always stepped up and been involved in our community. I am proud of my past 8 years, and I've had many great accomplishments. I have consistently made honorable and logical decisions, and have definitely championed for certain things, as well as fought hard, but respectfully, against some detrimental projects, always with just the facts. We built and opened the Rosardo Health and Wellness Center, as well as the Big Bay Point Fire Hall. We plan for the future, buying the natural aquifer property at the 7th and 10th Side Road. And we have a GO station, the Orbit. RVH South Campus coming to light in the next few years as well. I have been lucky to sit with some really great counselors, and I've learned something from each and every council member I've worked with, starting with former councillor Doug Lougheed, who taught me to always know the answer to the question before you even ask it. I've fully embraced my role as a councillor, and I've worked and grown to be an effective leader, and along the way, I've become a better person as well. I sat on many committees and boards, always kept it very professional, and worked with some great staff over the years. Just to think, I've also worked with 3 CAOs, 3 fire chiefs, and 2 police chiefs now. I'm going to miss my copy of Municipal Word Daily in my inbox every morning. Maybe somebody here could maybe forward me a copy once in a while just to keep me in the loop. My son Wyatt has grown up in this public forum, and it took him a while to understand how every kid didn't know who mayors Walkup and Dolan were, or to set aside the Blue Jolly Ranchers for Lynn. In his civics classes, he questioned why no one else knew MP Broussard and MP Pete Kanjan. He thought it was just normal to be in parades and events with them all the time as well. I am very proud of the fact that I ran a clean, grassroots, and honest campaign and didn't get drawn into the greasy online stuff. To the incoming council, take the time and dig into the tough decisions that you are coming to you. Consider the unintended consequences of your choices, and that those decisions can and will have an impact on all of us for decades. Remember to listen and debate passionately when needed, but respectfully, and do not take it personally. Leave it in chambers and go have a beer with each other afterwards. Wyatt probably said this best. This sucks, Dad, but I'm becoming a teenager, and it'll be good to have you around a little more on Wednesdays for the next 4 years to help me grow. And I agree, but I can't and won't stop being a part of this town as well. I'm sad that I won't be much of an integral part of it the next year, but we'll find other ways to contribute to our community in a positive manner. I might take my nameplate home with me as a reminder of my involvement, but I will bring it back in 4 years. And hopefully I'll get the same holder with the dent in the back of it. Because even when you work hard and do the good deeds, things can get banged around a bit sometimes, but we persevere. I will close by sharing these 3 simple words for everyone. I'll be back. Cheers.
Thank you so much, and I'll give the last word to CAO Gershow.
Thank you so much, Mayor Dolan, and it really is difficult to follow, all of those statements, but I'll do my best. It really is remarkable to think about what this particular council has experienced over the past 4 years. Since that election on October 22nd, 2018, when I think about that date, it feels eons ago, right? Like the before times of 2018. And we've all seen the pandemic come and hopefully go. We've seen federal and provincial elections come and go. We've seen tremendous change here in this community over the past number of years. And I do think this council can be proud of the so many accomplishments that you have led and accomplished together. You even hired a new CAO, which was great. And I have to say, having joined this organization last October, one of my first impressions that really struck me was how positive and respectful and productive the relationship has been between staff and council. And from my perspective in my previous chapters of my career at the province, I've seen a lot of other municipalities where you probably cannot say that. And so I've been grateful every day since I've been at Innisfil to have the opportunity to work with each of you individually and collectively as a really amazing council. I'm really a big believer in the value and the importance of public service. And so when I look back on the service that each of you has given to this community, it really genuinely fills me with gratitude. And I'll read a little quote here. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived, it is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we led. That was Nelson Mandela who said that. And I think that through your participation on this council, each of you has made a real and lasting difference to the lives of others here in Innisfil. So on behalf of town staff and the community, thank you for all of your service. And just, on a more personal level, I really do want to thank you for all the engagement you've demonstrated with the work that we do here as staff. Thank you so much for listening with an open mind to the advice and the recommendations that we've brought to you. Thank you so much for asking excellent questions of us. It's what our community deserves, and it definitely keeps us on our toes. And just, again, personally, thank you so much for making me feel very, very welcome as not just an employee here at the town, but as a member of this community. It really meant a lot to me. So congratulations on completing this most unusual term of council. And on behalf of all town staff, I really want to wish each of you the very best in whatever comes next for you. Thank you. Back to you, Mayor Dolan.
Thank you, Mr. Gershow. And I also wanted to let everyone know that we as a council did take the opportunity to gather and share a meal and quite a few laughs. And as a parting gift, each member of council was given a framed picture that was taken on our inaugural night in 2018. And I also just wanted to take a quick moment to acknowledge the people behind the great people at this table. So to Doris and Tony and Bruce and all of the families of the people up here. It's the families that end up quite often doing, well, how shall I say it? After a long council night and you go home and you're agitated and and it's the family that is the sounding board in a lot of cases, and with angry residents that come to bang at your door. So thank you to all of you for your service to the community as well. And with that, I will ask that we go to the confirming bylaw, and I would ask for a mover and a seconder for the confirming bylaw. Councillor Payne, Councillor Waters, all those in favor? And with that, we will ask for an adjournment. Councillor Nickel and Councillor Van Berkel is the seconder. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone.